welcome to TWF hi everyone, and welcome to TWF Dynamite, or Might. I'm Michael Cole with Tony Schiavone and with Taz. And today on Dynamite or Might, we have a good show here today on Dynamite or Might. Yesterday, the main wicker of the toy wrestling gathering, Ric Flair, made some matches. One of them was Xia Li fighting Keith Lee for the TWF Pennsylvania right for the TWF 24/7 winnings, and then Arrow and Becky Lynch having another match. Michael Cole says. Well, you got that right, Tony Schiavone says. You got that right. Ric Flair made those two matches yesterday on NXT. And we just wonder which one of those matches, which one of those matches is going to happen. Will it be Xia Li or Keith Lee or Arrow or Becky Lynch today? Tony Schiavone says, I could tell you one thing. Whoever or whatever match it's going to be, Taz says, it can't be good for either Arrow or Keith Lee. Xia Li has beat Keith Lee at least the first two times they fought. And Becky Lynch, she hasn't beat Arrow the first two times. She's bound. She's bound to beat Keith Lee sooner. She's bound to beat Arrow sooner or later, Taz says. Well, here comes Keith Lee coming to the ring now. I'm ready for you this time, Xia Li. I'm ready for you to come out this time and strike me from behind like a weakling. And this time, I'm going to take away your TWF 24/7 winnings from you. I'm going to do that. And you're not going to like it at all. So, if you think you're bold enough or fearless enough to come after me for the come after me, for the TWF 24/7 winnings, you're going to come after me, then I'll be ready for you. Well, keep in mind, this was the match that Ric Flair did make yesterday, Michael Cole says. Xia Li fighting Keith Lee for the TWF 24/7 winnings. And here comes Xia Li coming to the ring now. This time, Keith Lee's ready for her. Keith Lee just slammed Xia Li. Ding, ding, ding. The match is underway now, Michael Cole says. Well, Tony Schiavone said Keith Lee ended up, caught Xia Li before she could strike him and knock him down like she did yesterday on NXT, Tony Schiavone says. I'm going to tell you right now, Taz says, Keith Lee might have the upper hand, but sooner or later Xia Li will get the upper hand back on her. And she will do it all. And Xia Li just knocked down Keith Lee with one of her strikes. And down he goes again. And now Xia Li just body slammed Keith Lee, Michael Cole says. Well, Tony Schiavone said Keith Lee did have the upper hand on Xia Li early, but now she has gotten the upper hand now. Like I told you, Taz says, Xia Li just knocked down Keith Lee. I mean, Keith Lee, don't get me wrong, he's done a lot of good things, Taz says. He's a former EPW heavyweight fighter, a former WWE NXT heavyweight fighter, a former WWE NXT North Vinlander fighter, former AEW tag team fighter. But he's no match for Xia Li. And I guess that's true because Xia Li just knocked him out with all those blows, Taz says. Well, Michael Cole said Xia Li, was formerly in WWE, now in TNA now. And now she's going to give him the one more strike. And it's done. We've seen Xia Li beat many wrestler, both in WWE and TNA, with those blows, Michael Cole says. Yes, we have. Yes, we have, Tony Schiavone says. And we wonder if Xia Li will ever come back to WWE due to WWE and TNA's working deal. Time will tell. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner, and still the TWF 24/7 fighter, Xia Li. Well, Xia Li has beat Keith Lee here today on Dynamite or Mike. But Keith Lee doesn't have anything to feel ashamed of at all, Michael Cole says. He gave a good fight. He gave Xia Li all she could handle. And at the end of the day, Xia Li still beat him. Michael Cole said, that's right, Tony Schiavone says. Keith Lee started a match. He had the upper hand on Xia Li in the beginning of the match. And then by the end of the match, Xia Li had taken back. Ow! Xia Li had taken back the upper hand that Keith Lee had started. You know, had started, Tony Schiavone says. But at the end of the day, it was still a good match. You know, and Xia Li is still a TWF 24/7 fighter. Tony Schiavone says, I'll tell you right now, Taz says, I told you Keith Lee didn't have any luck going against Xia Li. You should have listened to me, Michael and Tony. I know what I'm talking about, Taz said. I spent years in WCCW and ECW and WWF and WWE and TNA and IW and AEW, so I think I should know what I'm talking about when I told you that Xia Li was going to beat Keith Lee. Well, Michael Cole said you gave your belief or not about it, but I still think it was a good match. Taz. All right, take it away, Sarah Shiver. Thank you, Michael Cole and Tony Schiavone. I'm going to be talking with Xia Li here today on Dynamite or Mike. All right, Xia Li, you beat Keith Lee, one of your toughest dares fights yet. But somehow you're still a TWF 24/7 fighter. Somehow, some way, Sarah Shiver, I am still a TWF 24/7 fighter. And somehow, some way, Keith Lee thought that he got the upper hand on me. He somehow thought that would make him the TWF 24/7 fighter. But that didn't happen. No, Keith. No, I don't think so, Xia Li. But you also seem to believe that no man or woman can beat you. And somehow, even though you lose the TWF 24/7 winnings, you always somehow am up winning it back. I told you when I first came to the Toy Wrestling Gathering in the 11th month of 2023 YL that I was going to be the TWF 24/7 fighter for a long time. And I kept that oath. I may have lost it here and there, but I ended up winning it back. And there is no man or woman that could take it away from me. Shit. Stand up! Stand up! Well, that's my talk with Xia Li. Back to you, Michael Cole and Tony Schiavone. Well, thank you, Sarah Shiver, for talking with Xia Li here today on Dynamite or Mike. And that's all the time we got here for Dynamite or Mike. I'm Michael Cole with Tony Schiavone and with Taz. We hope you like Dynamite or Mike, and we'll see you tomorrow for Impact or Hit.